Imagine there were an invisible force that decides your masculinity every single day, a force that determines how much energy you have, how sharp your mind is, and how strong your drive in life truly remains. Most men search for the answer in expensive pills or extreme diets, but the truth is much simpler, and it lies directly beneath your feet. Did you know that every 1,000 steps you take can increase your testosterone by exactly 7 nanograms per deciliter? This is not an empty promise, but the result of hard medical studies. But here comes the shock. The modern man today is literally sitting himself into hormonal insignificance. By spending most of our day frozen in front of screens, we send our bodies a fatal signal. We are engaging in a kind of voluntary self-castration through lack of movement. If you don't move, your body assumes you are in a survival crisis. It simply shuts down the production of your most important hormones because it believes reproduction and vitality currently have no place. But this doesn't have to be your destiny. In the next few minutes, I will show you why walking is not just movement from one place to another. It is the ultimate natural hormone therapy that forces your body to rebuild what modern life has destroyed. We are not talking about casual strolling. We are talking about a biological switch that you flip with every step. Are you ready to take back control of your testosterone? Then let's understand what happens when movement stops.
To understand how powerful movement truly is, we must look at what happens when it suddenly disappears. Imagine a group of young, perfectly healthy men. They are in the prime of their lives, full of energy and ambition. Researchers conducted a study with exactly these men that perfectly reflects modern life. They did not change their diet. They did not deprive them of sleep. They gave them only one single fatal instruction: stop moving. Their daily activity was limited to just 1,500 steps. That is exactly what the average office worker does today, from bed to the car, from the car to the desk, and in the evening straight to the couch. What happened after just 2 weeks was absolutely alarming. The bodies of these young men began to transform in real time, and not for the better. Their insulin sensitivity collapsed. Suddenly, they began gaining fat at a rapid pace, especially around the midsection. But the most disturbing change was the crash in their testosterone. Why did this happen? It is an evolutionary survival mechanism. Your body is a highly efficient machine. When it senses that you barely move anymore, it interprets this as a biological emergency. It assumes you are injured or trapped in a period of starvation. At that moment, your system switches into what could be called hibernation mode. Your brain makes a cold decision. Reproduction is now a luxury. We do not need muscles, hunting drive, or libido to sit in a chair. The result? You feel sluggish. Your focus disappears into a thick fog of fatigue, and your reflection in the mirror slowly begins to change. Your body has literally put you on standby because it believes your male vitality is no longer essential for survival.
But what happens if we reverse the situation? If we stop merely existing and start behaving like biological winners again? In the year 2021, researchers published a groundbreaking study based on the data of the National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey in the United States. They examined hundreds of men, documented every single step, and compared them with the hormone levels in their blood. What they discovered was not just a vague connection, but a mathematical formula for your vitality. They found that the line between a hormonal wreck and an energetic man lies exactly at 8,000 steps per day. Why 8,000? It is the magical turning point where your body leaves survival mode and switches into growth mode. Let's calculate it together. If you are currently a typical desk worker struggling to reach 4,000 steps, then increasing to 10,000 steps means a massive difference of 42 nanograms per deciliter in your baseline level. 42 points. It may sound like just a number, but in reality, it represents a biological rejuvenation of several years. It is like turning back time. The data clearly show men who break the 8,000 step mark have a 90% lower risk of suffering from clinically low testosterone compared to their inactive peers. 90%. You do not need to be a professional athlete or lift heavy weights to save your system. You simply need to stand up and walk. It is the simplest insurance policy for your masculinity that nature has ever invented. A simple walk removes almost any risk that your hormones will ever collapse.
Why is walking often more effective than brutal training in the gym? To understand this, we must expose two dark figures inside your body, the thief and the traitor. First, the thief. His name is cortisol, the stress hormone. Your body produces testosterone and cortisol from the same raw material, cholesterol. But there is a problem. Your system has only a limited budget. When you are under constant time pressure, or when your body is under continuous stress from extreme high-intensity training, something called the cortisol steal happens. Your body makes a cold decision. Survival is more important than reproduction. It steals the cholesterol that was meant for testosterone and instead produces stress hormones. This is where walking becomes your lifeline. While a hard sprint can temporarily explode your cortisol levels, rhythmic walking acts like a calming signal for your brain. It tells your system, we are safe, there is no attack. As a result, the raw material becomes available again for your masculinity. But there is also a traitor lurking deep in your belly fat. His name is aromatase. Imagine aromatase as a highly efficient leak in a bucket, but it does not simply let testosterone drain away, it transforms it. This enzyme steals your hard-earned testosterone and turns it into estrogen, the female hormone. The more belly fat you carry, the more active this traitor becomes. It literally robs you of your masculine identity from the inside. When you walk, you stay in the perfect zone for fat burning. You slowly starve this hormonal traitor. You are not just losing weight, you are removing the very foundation of the aromatase factory. You do not have to give up heavy strength training, quite the opposite. But think of walking as the necessary healing that stops the thief and defeats the traitor.
We have talked about thieves and traitors, but there is another almost invisible enemy in your blood: insulin. Every time you eat a large meal, especially one rich in carbohydrates, your blood sugar rises sharply. Your body immediately reacts and pumps insulin into the system to control that sugar. Here lies the problem for your masculinity. Chronically high insulin levels act like a stop sign for your testicles. Your body interprets the metabolic chaos as a signal that it is a bad time for reproduction. It mercilessly reduces testosterone production. Most men try to solve this with extreme diets that they eventually fail to maintain, but there is a brilliant back door that lies directly in your legs. Your leg muscles, your thighs, calves, and glutes, are the largest muscle groups in your entire body. When you walk, these muscles contract thousands of times. In doing so, they act like a gigantic biological sponge. They absorb sugar directly out of your bloodstream. And the best part is, they do it without requiring your body to release massive amounts of insulin. Imagine you have just finished dinner. Instead of immediately sitting down on the couch, which would fuel the insulin storm, you go outside for just 15 minutes. Through this simple movement, you immediately flatten the blood sugar curve. You prevent the massive insulin spike and give your body the green light it needs. A stable, low insulin level signals a healthy environment to your system, and that is the ultimate starting signal for a new wave of testosterone.
You now have the knowledge. You know the thieves, the traitors, and the biological backdoors of your body. Now, it is time to turn that knowledge into raw, masculine energy. Your path back to full vitality rests on 3 unshakable pillars. The first pillar is intention. When you walk, walk with purpose. Imagine you are in a busy airport and you are slightly late for your flight. You are not running, but you are moving with strength and determination. Your breathing should become deeper, but you should still be able to speak in short sentences. At exactly this pace, you burn fat without driving your stress hormone cortisol back up. The second pillar is timing. We solve the puzzle of the sun and metabolism very simply. Use the early morning for a walk outside. Sunlight on your skin activates the production of vitamin D, the crucial building block for your testosterone. It is not just a vitamin, it is a steroid precursor. And after dinner, go outside again for 15 minutes to control your blood sugar while the world slowly settles down. The third pillar is consistency. Here is my challenge for you. Reach the mark of 8,000 steps for the next 7 days, every day, whether it rains or the sun shines. You do not need expensive equipment, and you do not need a gym membership. You only need to stand up. After 1 week, you will feel it, not only in your legs, but in your mind. The fog will lift, your drive will return, and your inner engine will finally start again. Your body was made to move. When you move, you turn the light back on. Start walking.
Your new life is only a few thousand steps away.